This industrial bread, stripped through roller milling, is designed purely for profit. It causes gut inflammation and spikes your blood sugar.
There is something deeply wrong with the bread on your table. For thousands of years, bread was called the staff of life. It built civilizations, fed armies, and kept families alive through brutal winters. But today, the same word describes something that inflames your gut, spikes your blood sugar, and leaves you hungry an hour later. You've probably heard stories about peasants eating 2 or 3 pounds of bread a day in medieval times, and still doing hard physical labor. There are historical records showing very high bread consumption in some places, but I could not independently verify the exact 1324 village out Stadiork statistic you sometimes see cited. What we can say with confidence is this: people used to rely on dense, slowly fermented loaves as the backbone of their dietand. They didn't suffer our modern metabolic epidemics on anything like the same scale. So what changed? The short answer is everything. Modern bread is not bread. It's an industrial product designed for shelf life, speed, and profit. Pick up a supermarket loaf and read the ingredients sometime. Find enriched wheat flour, codename for flour that has been stripped almost bare and then injected with a few synthetic vitamins to meet legal standards. You'll see emulsifiers, preservatives, sweeteners, and chemical conditioners that keep the loaf soft for weeks. Whole food turned into a chemistry set. 3 big transformations destroyed real bread: the breeding of modern wheat for yield, the shift from stone to roller milling, and the collapse of long, natural fermentation into a 3-hour factory cycle. First, wheat itself changed. Norman Borlaug's semi-dwarf, high-yield varieties triggered the Green Revolution and massively increased food production that saved millions from hunger. But the breeding priorities shifted to yield, sturdiness, and uniformity, not digestibility. Modern bred wheat combines genomes that ancient landraces didn't have. And research shows differences in protein composition between heritage wheats and modern cultivars. Some studies suggest modern wheat proteins provoke stronger immune responses in susceptible people. That doesn't mean everyone is weak. It means the crop we eat now is not the same food our grandparents ate. Milling, medieval mills were stone grinding machines, slow, low heat, coarse grind. They kept the germ and the bran intact when the loaf was meant to be whole. In the late 19th century, roller milling spread fast. Roller mills produce bright white flour quickly and at scale, but they remove the germ and much of the bran. The nutrient-rich parts of the kernelland generate a finer, more rapidly digestible starch that shoots sugar into your bloodstream. The roller mill revolution started in the 1860s, and by the early 20th century reshaped the global flour supply. Your body responds with an insulin dump. Afterwards, you crash and get hungry again. Do that day after day, and you edge toward insulin resistance and prediabetes. The Centers for Disease Control now estimate roughly 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes. That's not a lifestyle parable. It's a food system problem. There's deeper chemistry at work, too. Modern wheat varieties contain gluten proteins in different ratios and structures than heritage wheats. Proteomic studies show unique fragments in modern wheat that are more resistant to digestion fragments that can trigger immune reactions in some people. Add to that the modern practice of pre-harvest desiccation and widespread use of pesticides, and you introduce residues into the grain that never existed in pre-industrial systems. Glyphosate, the weed killer used widely in modern farming, has been detected in many conventional wheat products in some surveys, and it's implicated in gut microbiome disruption. These are complex issues, and the science is evolving. But the basic pattern is clear. Breeding for yield, chemicalized farming, fast milling, and fast baking created a food our bodies don't always recognize as food. Now the practical part. If you want to eat bread that nourishes instead of sabotages, there are 3 immediate routes. First, find bakers who use heritage wheats and long fermentation. Look for names like Einkern, Emer, spelt ancient grains that carry simpler gluten structures and often produce fewer symptoms in people who react to modern wheat. Look for stone-milled flour and sourdough that's been fermented for 12 to 24 hours. Second, bake at home. Maintain a starter. Mix your dough the night before and let time do the work. Slow fermentation isn't hard, just asks for patience. The payoff is a loaf that keeps you full, releases energy slowly, and often doesn't provoke the gut the way industrial bread does. Third, where appropriate, diversify. Don't make white loaf the center of every meal. Use whole grains like barley, oats, or properly prepared legumes and rice. Soaking, fermenting, and slow cooking make these alternatives far more digestible and nutrient-dense. If you want proof, look at modern clinical work. Trials replacing modern bread with stone-milled, long-fermented ancient grain loaves reports substantial symptom improvement for many people with IBS or non-celiac wheat sensitivity. So why did we throw this away? After World War II, the priorities were obvious. Feed a growing population cheaply and reliably. Bread used to be real food. We turned it into a product. You can choose to take it back. Here's where the story of bread gets really uncomfortable. The biggest change in modern bread didn't happen in the bakery. It happened in the field. The wheat we eat today grows in a chemical environment that would have been unthinkable for 99% of human history. Let's start with something most consumers never even hear about: pre-harvest desiccation. In many modern farming operations, fields are sprayed with glyphosate, a powerful herbicide, about a week or 2 before harvest. It means the grain itself carries residues of the very chemical used to kill the plant. Now, I'm not here to throw around specific numbers, because the exact percentages vary by region and brand. But researchers have detected glyphosate residues in a large portion of commercial wheat products. The beneficial bacteria in your gut long before it ever affects the plant it was sprayed on. Medieval wheat never encountered anything remotely like this. Stronger gluten means bigger, fluffier loaves, softer textures, and dough that can withstand the brutal force of industrial mixing machines. Slow fermentation isn't just about creating a delicious, tangy flavor in sourdough. It's a powerful biochemical process. The natural bacteria and yeasts in a sourdough starter work to break down those tough gluten fragments, reduce phytic acid, which can block mineral absorption, and dismantle other anti-nutrients like lectins. They literally pre-digest the dough, transforming it into something our bodies can handle. When you remove that long fermentation from the process's modern industrial baking, does you remove that transformation? You remove what made bread digestible and nourishing for thousands of years. Let's talk about digestion, because this is where people feel the difference most strongly. When someone says bread makes them feel tired, bloated, foggy-headed, or achy, they are not imagining it. For many people, their gut reacts to modern bread like it's a shock to the system. The ultra-fine roller-milled flour is absorbed incredibly quickly. The starch hits your bloodstream like a shot of pure glucose. Your insulin spikes, and then it crashes. You feel hungry again just an hour later. If this cycle repeats day after day, it slowly chips away at your metabolic health. Now, picture a medieval laborer eating 2 pounds of slow-fermented stone-ground bread in a day. That bread was rich in fiber, healthy oils from the germ, vitamins, and minerals. It released its energy slowly and steadily. It fed the gut microbiome instead of disrupting it. It didn't leave a person craving more food an hour later. It wasn't addictive. It was sustenance. The gut microbiome is really the hidden character in this whole story. Industrial wheat products, stripped of their fiber, move through your digestive system way too fast. They don't provide enough food or substrate for your beneficial bacteria to thrive. The chemical residues and the lack of fermentation don't help either. Over time, this can lead to a reduction in microbial diversity, something that's now strongly associated with metabolic diseases. Again, I'm not claiming that modern bread directly causes these diseases all on its own, but it contributes to a dietary environment that is fundamentally different from the one humans evolved with. And consider something most of us never think about: how the seed itself has changed. Ancient wheat varieties like einkorn, emmer, and spelt weren't uniform. A medieval field wasn't a monoculture. It was genetically diverse. The plants grew to different heights, ripened at different times, and had different resistances to pests and disease. This natural variation acted like a form of biological insurance. If a disease hit the field, some stalks would almost always survive. Today, we plant vast fields of genetically identical wheat. This creates a perfect environment for pests and diseases to spread like wildfire, which then requires even more chemical intervention. More chemicals mean more residues, and more residues mean more strain on your gut. This story, unfortunately, gets even darker. The bread aisle in a typical supermarket hides a fundamental truth about our modern food system. Bread is engineered to be soft, cheap, and fast to produce. It is not engineered to be nourishing, digestible, or supportive of your long-term health. When bread becomes a commodity instead of a craft, our health becomes the collateral damage. Let's pull on that thread a little further. A medieval loaf was naturally high in micronutrients: magnesium, zinc, manganese, B vitamins, vitamin E, even omega-3 fatty acids were all present in the whole grain. Almost none of this survives modern roller milling. When you strip away the bran and the germ to create white flour, you eliminate most of the mineral and vitamin content. That's why modern flour is enriched, a polite word for adding back a tiny fraction of what was destroyed in the first place. But you can't enrich the missing fiber. You can't enrich the lost antioxidants. And you certainly can't enrich the natural fermentability of the grain. So, this brings us to the biggest question: is wheat itself the enemy, or is it the way we now grow it and process it? The evidence strongly leans toward the latter. Studies that compare modern bread to sourdough made with ancient wheat varieties often find that many individuals with non-celiac wheat sensitivity can tolerate the heritage loaves far better. I'm not claiming this is true for everyone, but the pattern is real enough to pay attention to. For many, digestion improves, blood sugar stabilizes, and inflammation markers drop. When bread is made the old way, the body seems to recognize it as real food. So what does this all mean for you? It means your reactions to modern bread aren't a sign of weakness. They're signals. They are your body telling you this isn't real bread. This is an imitation. Industrial bread is made fast because time is expensive in a factory. But your digestive system still lives in the ancient world. It expects grain that was grown slowly, milled gently, and fermented patiently. When it receives a product made from flour, stripped of everything but starch, loaded with modern gluten fragments and additives, baked in 3 hours, and sprayed with chemicals from seed to harvest, it reacts exactly as biology would predict, with inflammation and confusion. This isn't about nostalgia, it's about physiology. If you want to bring real bread back into your life, you essentially have 3 choices. 1. Find local bakers who use heritage wheat and traditional long fermentation methods. They are out there to learn to make your own sourdough. It might look intimidating, but it's an incredibly forgiving and rewarding practice once you start. 3. Diversify your grains. Use barley, use oats, use other whole grains, and prepare them properly. You, Dan T., have to live like a medieval peasant to eat in a way that your body understands. And this is the part that matters most. Medieval bread wasn't perfect, and medieval health certainly wasn't perfect, but the bread they ate was real food. Your average supermarket loaf is a product shaped by economics, speed, and chemical shortcuts, not by tradition or biology. When you eat real bread, your body responds with strength. When you eat imitation bread, it often responds with confusion. You are not imagining the difference. It's very real. If you found this valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I really want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what symptoms do you get after eating modern bread? Is it bloating, brain fog, that constant hunger? Your story might be the key to explaining what is wrong with our food system and how we can start to fix it. Thanks for watching.